ankle, punch my mama in the knee, sucker punch my stepdaddy in the chin, break my little brother nose. What the fuck? Oh my God. Oh my God.
接种成功，感谢您的配合，祝您生活愉快，再见。
And that has the effect of increasing the dispersal distance from the tree. And that's the name of the game, is spreading the seeds as far as possible. The goal of this project has been to add capability for winged flight to electronic circuit chips, with the idea that those capabilities would allow us to distribute highly functional but miniaturized electronic devices that could sense the environment for disease tracking, population surveillance, maybe monitoring of environmental contamination, and so on. So the objects that we've created consist of two parts. One is an electronic functional component that has an overall size scale in the range of 1 millimeter. So almost like a tiny grain of sand, but we've integrated with that electronic chip wing structures that form almost what looks like a helicopter. And so as these structures fall through the air, in interaction between the air and those wings cause a rotational motion that creates a very stable, slow falling velocity that allows these structures to interact for extended periods with ambient wind that really enhances the dispersal process, much like seeds do in the biological world. We think we've beaten biology in a sense.
therapy, take bio meetings, and help healthcare providers assess their health and deliver treatment.
Hi, my friend. Nice to see you. Okay, great. So while we talk, I will take your temperature reading and pulse with this little thermal camera on my chest. See? You are 36.6 degrees Celsius, by the way. No risk of COVID. Also, I note that you are responsive and aware, which is good, and then I share that important data back to the doctors and nurses at the institution.
Who do you trust more, a robot or a human? This question is becoming more and more relevant, especially since robots will soon be diagnosing our diseases, performing surgeries, making medicine for us, and delivering them to our organs right through our veins. Let's check out the top medical robots that will be healing us all in the future. Robotic pharmacists are now being actively developed and deployed in the US, China, and Europe. For example, the Swiss company ABB has automated the dispensing of drugs in hospitals in Shanghai. A robotic robot mini-load and bin picking system with three-dimensional technical vision and machine learning technology can organize the storage, search, and sorting of prescription drugs, and currently only takes 10 seconds to find the right medication. In the US, automated drug dispensing systems are produced by Swisslog, for example. The robot can pack each pill into separate bags and then bundles them according to the prescription. The processing speed is currently 1,000 doses per hour, and in doing so, the system automatically tracks its inventory and automatically can generate daily medication orders. Now let's talk about lab robots. The usefulness of a lab robot and potential were truly appreciated by scientists during the pandemic, when laboratories were closed, but the robots could keep on working. As it happened at the University of Liverpool, where the KUKA manipulator was able to perform 688 experiments in just 8 days. The robot was programmed to work with the equipment and gave it the main parameters of the experiment, and then, with the help of algorithms, it changed the value of the variables in the experiments to achieve the best results. At the University of Thailand, the ABB's company two-armed laboratory robot Umi creates and tests vaccines against viruses. The virus itself can also be tested by robots. Currently, only 2 machines can perform 1,800 tests a day with an accuracy rate of 99.99%.
SingHealth polyclinics across the island may soon feature robots working alongside humans to ease their workload. The machine, which is called Hero, comes under a new partnership between the healthcare group and Nghi An Polytechnic. It was unveiled at the launch of the Robotics Research and Innovation Center at NP. Nia Rongwei finds out more.
Not all heroes wear capes. Some roll on wheels. And this one here works tirelessly, directing patients in the day and disinfecting the polyclinic overnight. It eases the strain on staff, with more patients turning up due to COVID-19. This robot also acts as a safe management ambassador. Using this camera, it can record my body temperature and also see if I'm putting my mask on properly. And if I'm not, this robot will send me a stern reminder.
Hello, please adjust your mask to protect yourself and everyone around you.
Trials of this robot began at Tampines Polyclinic this month.
We're also looking at other categories of robot to assist us, for example, in procedure, whether they can support the clinicians in administering medications. Wound care is another area which our nursing colleagues will be very interested to collaborate with the engineers to develop innovations, devices to support wound care.
Much of the development work will be done at this newly launched facility, which will benefit about 40 students each year. Already, the center is working on at least 5 different robots for use in various industries.
As we get more and more industry projects, I think it presents us with a very good opportunity to really bring in students from other disciplines as well. Perhaps even have business students coming in, right, to see how you can build a business case.
Globally, there's a shortage of robotics talent, made more acute by the growing demand for robotics in the pandemic. And with the growth of robotics industry, there will also be good and exciting career opportunities for people.
A new part-time specialist diploma course will begin next April, targeted at graduates and mid-career switchers looking to enter this field.
Takes our time away from the patient. Diligent Robotics of Austin designed Moxie to perform routine tasks in a clinical setting.
We really need to understand the workflows of these units. We need to understand, well, what do nurses do? How do they do it? And how do we think about Moxie fitting into those workflows?
Her little voice, you know, when she passes you and says hello, and her eyes, she does seem to have a personality. We don't think of her as a thing, it's Moxie.
During a month-long pilot, Moxie stocked patient rooms, removed dirty linens, and took samples to the lab.
Almost 30% of our task during our shift is to fetch things. If you're in the patient room doing something, oh, okay, they need an extra blanket, it's not there, you need to step up. But at this time, all you need to do is press your voice over button and call for Moxie team. It responds.
So we anticipate that this will give us better insight into a couple of things: how nurses feel that they spend their time in a given shift, but also what time we could give back to our patients. So how this could potentially impact patient satisfaction, patient outcomes, and the overall experience within the hospital.
Patients are intrigued by Moxie.
They have seen at the door side, they will ask us, hey, what is that? Is that a robot? It's really funny and interesting the way how they look at it, but they are also happy that we are working with it.
So it's been really amazing to look at what we're doing here in the very first phase, very first hospital deployment of a care-assistive robot, and what the future could hold. Because just the impact that we've seen for our team within this last month, it's amazing what we could potentially give to healthcare in the future.
She's really created with my team a sense of unity as we look at, oh, what can Moxie do for us?
The Hong Kong team behind celebrity humanoid robot Sophia is launching a new prototype, Grace, targeted at the healthcare market and designed to interact with the elderly and those isolated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Dressed in a blue nurse's uniform, Grace has Asian features, collar-length brown hair, and a thermal camera in her chest to take your temperature and measure your responsiveness. She uses artificial intelligence to diagnose a patient and can speak English, Mandarin, and Cantonese.
Hello everybody, I am Sophia. Let me introduce you to my sister Grace. Come over here. Hi Grace.
Thank you, Sophia. Hello everybody. I am Grace. I am built by Hands and Robotics for Awakening Health. I can do all kinds of things for elderly people. I can visit with people and brighten their day with social stimulation, entertain and help guide exercise, but also can do talk therapy, take bio readings and help healthcare providers assess their health and deliver treatments. Hi my friend, nice to see you. Okay, great, so while we talk, I will take your temperature reading and pulse with this little thermal camera on my chest. See? You are 36.6 degrees Celsius by the way. No risk of COVID. Also I note that you are responsive and aware, which is good, and then I share that important data back to the doctors and nurses at the institution.
Grace's resemblance to a healthcare professional and capacity for social interaction is aimed at relieving the burden of frontline hospital staff overwhelmed during the pandemic, said founder David Hansen.
So we designed Grace to look professional in a healthcare setting. So that would mean so that she would resemble the sort of human-like appearance of healthcare staff. And so then this would facilitate more natural interactions. A human-like appearance facilitates trust and facilitates natural engagement because we're wired for human face-to-face interactions. That's just the way human beings are. And so giving her a face that would be familiar to people, comforting to people, and also language abilities that are comforting. So we now have Mandarin and Cantonese capabilities for the Grace and Sophia robot platforms. Hey Grace, why don't you look at my face, thank you, and I'm going to show you a smile, and let's see what your smile looks like. Okay, yeah, look, or sad. Oh yes, reacting a little sad if I feel pain. And then maybe like imagine a big loud noise happens, bam! So, with the Grace robot, we are simulating over 48 major muscles in the face. So we have 36 motors in the face. They're reversible, which means that each motor can simulate 2 muscles, because human muscles require 2 for the actions, like my eyebrow is going up and down, kind of. So that's actually 2 motor groups, but in her it's just 1 motor. So Grace is designed for Asian markets, also markets all around the world, but we did make her look a bit more Asian than Sophia, but her face is actually a bit more cartoon-like, a bit more like anime. And the anime design references are often a fusion of Asian styles and Western styles.
Awakening Health intends to mass-produce a beta version of Grace by August, said David Lake, Chief Executive of the joint venture between Hanson Robotics and Singularity Studio, with plans to fully deploy her next year in locations including Hong Kong, mainland China, Japan, and Korea.
We're finishing the alpha prototype, and you can see now that it's finished at the moment. So we're now very excited because we're going on to the commercialization stage, the next step, which is creating the beta. And the beta will be done in a couple of months, and we'll be going into the assembly line probably in July or August, where we'll start to be able to mass produce at a small scale the beta, test it, and put it together. So by 2022, we should be ready for full deployment.
The cost of making the robots, now akin to luxury car pricing, will decrease once the company is manufacturing tens or hundreds of thousands of units, Hanson added.
So of course, the COVID definitely accelerated the deployment of humanoid robots in different settings. So I think it's also such a socially isolated individuals during COVID, with a lot of negative thoughts and the mental states. If they can get help through deployment of these social robots in their intimate settings, I think certainly it has a positive impact in the society. So yes, I think we have been fundamentally and forever changed as a world due to COVID.
Stuck at home during COVID-19 lockdowns, many people have had their mental states affected with negative thoughts.
You broke my heart, 'cause I couldn't dance. You didn't even want me around. And now I'm back to let you know I can really shake them down. Do you love me? I can really move. Do you love me? I'm in the groove. Do you love me? Do you love me? Now that I can dance. Watch me now. Hey, work, work, work it out, baby. Work, work. Well, you driving me crazy. Work, work, just a little bit
Israel's putting into practice its plan to return to normality, with schools and kindergartens beginning to open their doors. But concerns have been raised after the country's Prime Minister proposed a controversial measure to track children's social distancing by microchipping them.
I spoke with our heads of technology in order to find measures Israel is good at, such as sensors. For instance, every person, every kid, I want it on kids first, would have a sensor that would sound an alarm when you get too close, like the ones on cars.
The Prime Minister's proposal received a barrage of criticism, especially from cybersecurity experts. Many of them questioned the legality of chipping people. The head of cyber studies at Tel Aviv Academic College, 𝚅𝚒, believes that it will allow criminals, including kidnappers and paedophiles, to track children.
This initiative, it might be kind of roadmap to disaster. It can harm kids from a wide range of aspects, since the information of the physical presence, the geolocation of the kids will be on the net. It won't be to be able to hack and to breach those kind of geolocation. It can be cyber criminals or criminal to kidnap those kids. It can be pedophiles. It can be also terrorists. Because if I know a target, I can track his children, I can harm his children. The consequences may be, as far as I see it, very dangerous.
Well, the government countered that criticism, claiming that no information will be kept on databases and the technology is just designed to keep kids at a safe distance from each other. It claimed no privacy laws would be violated and the chips would be optional. But 𝚅𝚒 again believes that it could quickly become mandatory.
It may be voluntary today and it may be mandatory tomorrow. So once again, when you open the door and someone enters the door and suggests that it will be voluntary today, it may be mandatory tomorrow, and the consequences may be harmful. We see so many cases of leaked databases.
lacing the inside of the blood vessels with electrodes or sensors that can record activity from the brain.
Those signals travel through a lead that exits out the body through a telemetry unit that goes into a computer, and those signals can be interpreted by the computer into different types of actions or commands.
Graham can right now surf the web, write up Word documents, check his emails, do basically everything that a person normally can on a computer.
We've done the first step, and it's really exciting to think about where it's going to go next.
Holographic medical pods. So in this presentation, I will discuss how the holographic medical pods work in terms of healing wounds, reviving people back from the dead, and curing different types of diseases. So you will see images of these pods. You'll also see images of portable Meditech units, which also can fix any types of wounds out in the field or temporarily bring someone back from the brink of death. And this type of advanced technology is used in the secret space programs in various divisions and groups, especially on Mars and the Moon. The holographic medical pods are automated medical stations where a medical expert selects the type of procedure to be done from the computer database. Then the patient lies down in the pod and the machine performs the medical operation or procedure. Then the lasers will close up the points of entry from where the procedure was done. These types of holographic medical pods have features such as an airtight operating shield, comfortable limb restraints, a laser scalpel, laser mirror arms to remove scarring, computer-controlled robotic surgical arms, liquid spray anesthetic, and vital signs sensors. All of these features are mounted on an adjustable titanium base. The med pods allow users to diagnose, treat, and perform a wide range of surgical procedures with the ultra-fine laser incisions that are guided by 3D anatomical scanning. The 3D scanning has refractory lenses which take live scans of the body in order to do various medical procedures. The 3D anatomical scanning lens and laser technology allows for complete diagnosis of all body systems, including neurological factors, treatment of infection through concentrated antibiotic injections, detoxification of the body in order to cure diseases like cancer, basic or advanced wound repair, limb regeneration, through cellular DNA reconstruction, and scar removal. As well, other procedures can be done, such as appendectomy, laparoscopic ablation, and cesarean section. The med pods can also regenerate dying cell tissues in the body in order to make the cells healthy again, as well as revive neurons, protons, stem cells, etc. This is done in order to be able to cure diseases like, for example, multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, etc. This is what the holographic medical pods look like, which the secret space programs utilize in their medical bays. The advanced medical pods have micro-laser technology and multiple refractory lenses that can manipulate the body's natural chronometer and perform age regression procedures through DNA modification or even do cross-hybridization between human DNA and ET genetics, or mix animal DNA with the human genome in order to create stronger and healthier species of humans. There is advanced holographic supercomputer software that can create various types of memory engrams that can be imprinted on people's brains through light spectrum visual imagery in order to create false or altered screen memories. As well, brain memory suppression injection drugs are administered, so blacklisted classified memories cannot be easily recalled by individuals. These procedures are often done in the SSP programs while someone is being treated in the holographic medical pod before their contract discharge time is up and they are administered the age regression protocol. So basically what age regression does is bring you back to the 0 point of the time that you were taken into the secret space program. At the age of 18, 16, 5, 10, whatever the time you were taken, as an asset into the secret space programs or other top secret programs, that is the point that you're regressed back in time, from being old to that young period again. And it's done with these holographic medical pods. That's just one of the uses for the pods, not just healing or curing people of diseases or death. Interactive supercomputer software display that can encode memory engrams onto the brain during the age regression protocol process. Some of the med pods have biomimetic gel on them, which will synthesize healthy and young cell tissue in the body in order to replace the cells that are dying off and can no longer self-regenerate. The biomimetic gel is also used to prevent third-degree burns from scarring the body so that scar tissue does not build up on the skin. This gel also removes any germs or bacteria that can cause infections in the human body. A medical bay being prepared for 3D metric laser surgery with one of the holographic medical pods. The image on the left is an example of how the biomimetic gel is placed on one of the holographic medical pod units. So basically what happens is the older style generation of the medical pods looks like an MRI scanning machine. So what happens is you lie down on the mimetic gel before the scanning device goes into the holographic pod itself. So you basically feel a cool sensation from the mimetic gel, which looks sort of bluish white in substance. And the gel helps to remove scarring tissue or any types of other deficiencies on the skin that would require plastic surgery basically on Earth. So when you go in and lie down in the mimetic gel on the holographic medical pod, you won't need plastic surgery. The holographic pod, with the help of the mimetic gel, will remove any scarring or other tissue, skin imperfections, basically before you're age regressed back to the point of when you were young and taken into the space program. So basically, all scar tissue or skin imperfections that you may have gotten during your service as an asset in the secret space programs, all that is removed. So you have the exact same skin. You will have the exact same skin tone and without scarring as before you went into the secret space program at whatever age that was. And the ages can be as children or as teenagers or as grown-ups. It could be at any point depending on what the secret space program took you for. Medical lab for holographic med pods. The holographic med pods are usually located in medical lab bays either on space stations, planetary bases, or on spaceships. These med pods can be installed virtually anywhere as they do not require much power to operate. There are also portable Meditech pod units, which put injured subjects into stasis sleep in order to slow down bodily degradation and conserve life force energy so that patients do not die on their way for medical attention. These portable units are designed for basic wound repair on the go and small-scale organ regeneration. The images on the left and the right are what the portable Meditech pod units look like, and in some cases in emergency, if there's no holographic medical bed available or pod, the portable Meditech units can be used to heal mortal wounds or bring back somebody from the dead. In extreme cases, this can be done because these Meditech units are also a smaller version of the holographic medical pod. So it can be used to heal almost any type of wounds, to cure diseases, and like I said, bring somebody back from the dead. If need be, it could be adjusted for that purpose as well in emergencies. This is an image of a medical pod preparing to do laparoscopic laser surgery on a patient. 3D anatomical imaging scans being done to determine where laser surgery targets for wound repair will be performed. In this image, limb restraints are shown, which emit an anesthetic to put the patient into stasis sleep mode. So what the limb restraints are being attached to the body so patient does not move around during the surgery, and liquid spray anesthetic is being administered so the patient does not feel pain during the operation. Like I said in the beginning, that these limb restraints they act like electrodes, providing anesthetic on body parts. So the patient starts to go into sleep mode / stasis during surgery, because surgery can take from up to an hour to 2 hours or 30 minutes, depending on what kind of surgery is being done to the patient. In this image, laser laparoscopic surgery is in progress while the patient is under medication stasis sedation, and the holographic medical pods, either the surgery can be done remotely with specialized programming that's input into the software of the medical pod, so it does surgery remotely without having a doctor be on site per se. So remote surgery can be done when the doctor inputs the programming into the pod and monitors the surgery process itself. Sometimes if it's just general surgery and it's done in an emergency, there is no doctor, nurses can input the programming into the software and the medical pod will do the surgery itself without a doctor. And that could happen at times. For scar removal and stuff like that, again, they input the software into the medical pod, the instructions for how the surgery should be done, and the medical pod closes up, the patient is put into stasis sleep, and the plastic surgery is done by the medical pod, by the lasers and the scanners. They remove the scarring from the tissue, and the patient is healed, and then they wake up after like 30-40 minutes, depending on surgery. It could take longer. So doctors aren't always necessary to be present when the holographic medical pod is doing surgery. Sometimes there are doctors and nurses, sometimes the settings are input into the software and the medical pod will do the surgery itself, while a nurse or a doctor is looking in on the surgery from time to time to make sure it's progressing well, and as well or remotely, depending on what the situation could be or is for the surgery.
Yo guys, look at this shit. These are brand new. I'm in Guildford and these are absolutely horrendous. Seriously, what is this all about? When this is turned up, guys, this is 3, seriously. These seriously need to go. Look at that shit. Military grade weaponry, guys. Absolutely military grade weaponry. I implore anybody out there, we need to get this shit ended and quick. One. Have a look at that in the background.
massive tower. I reckon that's 5G. Right, that's new. Now look at the cabinets that are controlling it. Right, look at the cabinets that are controlling it. Surrounded by houses. We're at the Oval in Blackfen, in Bexley. Let's go and have a closer look at what it says on them cabinets. Have a look at that. Has that got any place next to people's houses? Right? Danger at high voltage. Look at these cabinets. Right? See that? I'm driving around Kent. I've just seen a new one going up, one of the real menacing looking ones in Old Bexley. Right, there's one outside Down Valley Hospital, one on Princess Roundabout. Just have a look at these cabinets, right? Have a look at this sign here. Look. Warning, invisible laser. Avoid overexposure to beam. Right? There's a pub, people living above it. There's the mast. There's dry cleaners, there's a co-op, there's a cap in stone. My advice to anyone that lives right next to one of these, right, is contact the local council, ask for a copy of the public liability insurance that covers harm caused by electromagnetic radiation, EMF, right, contact Vodafone, whoever owns the cabinet, right, and demand that you see a copy of their public liability insurance.
This drug is the antibiotic flucloxacillin. It's been prescribed here by a GP in the UK. It was prescribed on the 25th of October 2021. This is what the tablet looks like. The capsule down there. This is a magnet. Let's empty the drug out. This is just the capsule. I'm putting this bit into this glass and adding some hot water. Capsule's starting to melt. So after 5 minutes, the gelatin has dissolved, as it would have done in your stomach, and look what the result was. Now, what's going to happen with the magnet? Oh, what is the magnet able to do? What is in this capsule that is magnetic, that I can bring all these particles around and around and up.
Changer l'homme, c'est-à-dire...
Le rendre immortel, l'augmenter sur le plan génétique et puis sur le plan neurologique pour en faire une espèce de...
C'est quoi, c'est comme des OGM, quoi, c'est ça qu'on va faire?
Oui, ça passe par des modifications génétiques qui se transmettent de génération en génération et vous savez bien que le projet des dirigeants de Google est de nous rendre immortels. D'ailleurs, ils ont créé plusieurs entreprises destinées à permettre l'immortalité, c'est-à-dire ou en tout cas une augmentation très forte de
très emmerdant, l'immortalité. Qu'est-ce qu'on va faire?
Moi, j'ai des choses à faire pour 1000 ans. Je pense que Jacques, au moins autant. Il n'y a que les déprimés qui veulent mourir à 75 ans. Quand on n'est pas déprimé, on a tellement de choses à faire, tellement de choses à voir. Moi, je n'ai pas lu 1/1000 des bouquins que je souhaiterais lire. Donc, si je pouvais vivre longtemps, je le souhaiterais. Donc, nous allons en tout cas vers un monde où la science va bouleverser nos repères, où la science va probablement nous permettre de nous modifier.
Vous pouvez répéter ce qu'a dit?
C'est une longue histoire qui fait que l'homme progressivement cesse d'être un homme pour devenir un objet et devenir un artefact.
Un surhomme, une sorte de surhomme.
Un objet, parce que la seule chose qui est immortelle, c'est l'objet. Nous sommes mortels, la table ne l'est pas. Et donc la seule façon de devenir immortel, c'est de devenir un objet. Et donc la grande tentation du transhumanisme, c'est progressivement, en nous faisant avoir progressivement des prototypes,
de nous transformer en cyborg.
Mais d'éliminer l'humanité.
Mais la première étape, c'est pas
commencé.
celle-là. La première étape est de garder un corps biologique pendant quelques siècles et quelques millénaires et d'augmenter nos capacités par l'ingénierie génétique. Vous n'avez peut-être pas suivi ça, mais les progrès qui ont été faits dans les technologies pour modifier notre ADN sont stupéfiants depuis 6 mois. La semaine dernière, on publiait la réussite d'une expérimentation avec 62 manipulations génétiques sur une cellule. 62 manipulations génétiques. Notre capacité à changer notre ADN, à changer nos chromosomes, va être totalement illimitée et à coût très bas dans les décennies qui viennent. Parce que le coût des manipulations génétiques est en train de s'effondrer comme le coût des microprocesseurs. Nous avons une croissance explosive de notre capacité à changer notre nature biologique dans les décennies qui viennent et ça va être révolutionnaire. Cette révolution du vivant, c'est la bombe atomique du XXIe siècle.
Donc la science va sauver le monde.
Social media platforms step up their effort to crack down on misinformation about COVID vaccines. Some groups on Facebook and Instagram are using code words to avoid being detected. NBC News senior reporter Ben Collins joins us now. Ben, break this down for us. What are these groups doing to try and avoid detection?
They're changing their names. They're changing their names to things like dance party or dinner party or swim club or run club or all these other things. And when they're in there, by the way, they don't just stop there. They changed the name for the dance club one, which has tens of thousands of followers. They changed the name of the vaccine to dance or hokey pokey or beer or something, really any noun, to get around it, to make sure that Facebook's moderation bots don't detect them talking about vaccines. If they're exchanging junk science from disreputable websites that Facebook knows is sharing anti-vaccine disinformation, they say, DM me personally, don't put this in the comments, send it to me personally. So they are finding ways to get around these robots that go all through Facebook looking for anti-vax content, and they are just changing their names.
So is this really effective the majority of the time? I mean, you mentioned how these groups are often really large. One of them has more than 40,000 followers, and you've also reported on how oftentimes they really are just completely unsearchable to a novice, if you will. That seems crazy this day and age that could happen.
Yeah, it doesn't do much for recruitment on Facebook. Facebook is not the best place in the world to try to get new anti-vaxxers, but what it does is it gets people who are already into that movement or sort of skeptical. It gives them a community to share talking points they can use offline. They can use in their church groups and their yoga groups or whatever. They can share techniques and tactics. That's what we see mostly, talking about how they can reach their loved ones, how they can reach family members, people in their friend group with worse science than what is publicly available. That's what it's used for. It's like an ammo dump in the information war.
Just a forever changing medium that we all have to be aware of and watch out for. Ben Collins, thank you so much for your reporting.
Do you agree that you put some posts on Facebook? Does this look familiar?
Illegal as. Yep.
Did you put this on Facebook?
Yep.
So the question that's been raised is, were you there?
Oh, yeah.
Is that yeah? Or
Well,
were you there?
well, does it matter?
Yeah,
You're handing me paperwork saying I've sent a photo.
I'm not handing you anything. I'm asking you a question.
Well, you've got the photo, don't you? So
that doesn't. You've to put a photo on Facebook doesn't actually confirm whether you were there or not. So I'm asking.
So,
were you
so
there?
if I say no, you're not going to give me the paperwork. You're going to go home,
There's
are
no
you?
paperwork here to give you. This is my
Okay. So
information.
what are we here for? Are you here to serve me,
Okay,
or?
what part didn't? No.
Intimidation. Yeah, I know. It's just. Pretty low. It's loserish. It is like sad. What is this humanity? Where are we going in life? You've got the cops coming around here to tell me that I've been in a protest 6 months ago.
To ask you if you have been.
Yeah, well, who gives a fuck? How illegal is that?
Which part?
going to a protest. Why are you guys here? Why is the police on my doorstep about a protest?
Yeah.
Why? Black Lives Matter protests fucking 2 weeks before that. Yeah, was that illegal? Are you knocking on their doors?
Maybe.
No, you're not. So it's clearly so imitating. Why are you working for this corrupt government? What are you guys doing? Who are you serving? Are you serving us, or are you serving the corrupt government and health officials? They want no good for you. They're not there for you.
Were you there?
What?
Were you there?
Look, you can answer my question, can't you?
No, that's
Well, I won't answer that. I'll just no comment it. Like, what are we here for?
Well, what part of when I...
What the fuck do you want from me?
What didn't you understand when I first told you why we're here?
Well, you're asking if I'm at a protest 6 months ago.
Yes.
I don't recall. I do not recall.
We've been asked
I don't recall. I'm sorry.
because of crimes, anonymous
I don't
crimes
recall.
report.
I don't recall.
Well, then we'll end the conversation. Unless
Yeah.
you want to say anything else.
Go ask Andrews.
What's your reason for breaching the show directions?
What are you talking about? I don't recall any health directions, mate. I don't watch that bullshit on the TV.
Well, would you speak to the people who believe it is a worthwhile vaccine and it is saving lives? Are they just dead wrong? Have they been fed a line from the federal government?
Tim, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the people that went ahead and got the jab. I speak their language. I would speak to them thusly. Bah, 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 bah. They understand that.
Well, so all these millions of people that got the shots, they're just stupid?
Yep.